What's up, everyone? It's been a minute since I made a video, and this one I'm making. I've actually thought about making this video, but then I think, I guess, I don't know. I guess I thought that it was not gonna keep happening. But I keep seeing people with melee resolve gain uh, on their builds, so that's the problem. We need to fix that. So I'm gonna demonstrate for once and for all, that melee resolve gain is probably, most likely, the worst stat in the game. The most useless one, and for some reason, I don't think even when I was new playing the game, I didn't even think that I was too focused on trying to get melee resolve gain. Because I always thought that ultimate damage, which, I've changed my mind since then, but I always thought that maining assassin, ultimate damage was more important. So I always try to prioritize that. Uh, and I actually came up with a pretty good build, pretty icky for assassin before all the updates. When assassin was a lot weaker, but that's a different story. But anyway, um, melee resolve gain was just never something that I prioritized or thought I needed, especially because I guess early on I understood that I would not want to sacrifice damage output for resolve gain because the game makes it relatively easy to gain resolve, at least the way that I played always. So anyway, the uh, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in without melee resolve gain and test it. So this is just my regular soloing build.
どの話にいたしましょ
Gonna go into a gold survival
う。始めましょ
because it's an easier way to test it.
う。雪に咲く赤。
And we're gonna test how many. And remember, melee resolve gain means strictly your katana. So anything else, any other hits, you're not really doing anything. One hit, two hits, three hits, four, five, six, seven, eight, no, eight, nine, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. All right. So that gave me one resolve, 17 hits. So you can see it's right there. One full resolve. And I'm gonna leave.
クロードが残した数々の手柄。その一つをお話ししましょう。
So, I mean, I really shouldn't have to test it because math, if you just look at the properties, right? So if you just look at um, the maximum percentage that you can get for melee resolve gain is 10%. Alright, so 10% of 17 hits is 1.7 hits. That's what melee resolve gain does for you. That's also at max value, which I also see a lot of people, with melee resolve gain add below max value on their builds. Um, so that's, you got to think about how much you're using your katana um, you know, as you're playing, depending on what mode you're playing. If it's Nightmare Survival or just Gold, Bronze, Silver, whatever it is, raids. Um, so you got to think about your resolve gain. You're using this stat and you're sacrificing melee damage 12%, right? Which percentages in this game are additive. So, and also stacking. What you could do with stacking melee damage, like on more than one piece of gear or whatever, whatever it is, you're sacrificing that slot, which I think you can only get melee resolve gain from. Pretty sure you can only get it from the charm and from a charm and from your katana. So there it is on your katana, and then on the charm you can also get. Uh, I guess not all the charms. So yeah, because I've seen people. Yeah, it's a melee charm. So I've seen people with double melee resolve gain, right? So if you go to a melee charm, you can get melee resolve gain. So that would save you a whopping uh, 3 hits per resolve if you had 2 things of melee resolve gain. And you have to think about what you would be sacrificing for that. So you could be sacrificing 24% melee damage, which is pretty much the one thing to get on the melee charm, um, unless you're going for a staggering build. Uh, Counter damage is also not that great, but it's at any at any rate, it's way better than melee resolve gain. So melee stagger damage would be good. Perfect parry window. Personally, it's taken me a long time to get good at parrying, and I don't like using parry window because I feel like it makes me worse whenever I don't have it. So personal preference. Uh, but yeah, so for me, melee damage is pretty much the only viable one because it also goes into your ult. Um, so it stacks with that. So if you had melee damage, or like right here, you had melee damage and 19, or yeah, almost 20% ultimate damage, and then whatever I have in my katana, another 12% of melee damage. So that's 24% melee damage on top of the ult, which is a pretty significant difference, especially if you're playing Nightmare and you're stacking that. So yeah, let's go and take a look. Of course, when I want the stupid thing, it doesn't give it to me. Oh my god, seriously? There you go. Uh, Forgot to switch. Whatever.
どの話でも語りましょうぞ。痛ましい話ですぞ。
So that's right there. Melee resolve gain.
雪に咲く赤。
One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Alright, so there it is. Melee resolve gain. That's what it does for you. So 1.7. It doesn't even translate into a full resolve uh, until 16. So it's not even 2 hits. So you still have to do most of those hits before you can get anything from melee resolve gain. 16 versus 17. That's literally one hit, one actual full hit that it saves you uh, per resolve, full resolve. So I hope that you guys can please stop using melee resolve gain. I mean, it's really um, it should be. I feel like common sense at this point because the game's been around for so long, and but I guess there's always new players coming in, and there's always that period of time where you're trying to learn what's what, and trying to learn how things um, affect your game or how your gameplay uh, reflects your gear. Um, all the stats, all your complete build, the way that it acts, and the way that you play. So, yeah, hopefully you guys find this useful and informative, and it'll help you. Help you inform building your all your gear in a more conductive way to your play style. And uh, please stop using melee resolve gain because it really does nothing, almost next to nothing for you. Literally the worst stat, and there's so many more ways to gain resolve in this game. Obviously, um, gotta be you gotta know the basics of resolve building. So anytime you have a big group of enemies, whatever you can do to hit as many enemies as you possibly can, that's gonna make you that's gonna make it a lot easier for you to gain resolve or build resolve. Um, So a sticky bomb into a big group of people is great. Bombing concussions or whatever you got into a big group of people, a nice cluster of enemies is great. Uh, which is why increase radius is always good, or blast radius if you want to get that as well. It's always great. Um, if you're using a bow, headshots are great for resolve building, or the blowgun as well. Builds resolve really fast. So there's plenty of ways to gain resolve that will benefit you a lot more than melee resolve gain. Hope you guys found this video
お
useful,
話しした
and
い伝承は
I
たくさん
will
ございます。
catch you next time.